the streets of Greenwich were bathed in early summer sunlight. In a quiet residential area where young maple leaves swayed in the breeze, real estate agent Olivia Thompson was busy preparing for another property viewing. Standing in a Victorian mansion with over a century of history, gazing at the well-maintained garden, she let out a deep sigh. The perfect family home, she thought with conviction as she completed her final checks. As a top seller at Coldwell Banker, she had built a solid reputation in this upscale neighborhood. However, in her private life, her cautious nature had made it difficult for her to venture into new relationships. Carefully selected clients, a discerning eye, and honest dealings, these were both her principles and her strengths. Her divorce 3 years ago had been a major turning point in her life. Her ex-husband's gambling addiction had shattered their carefully built life in an instant. Yet that experience had made her stronger. Supported by the First Presbyterian Church community, she now enjoyed a peaceful life with her only daughter, Emily. Though she felt lonely at times, she kept moving forward, one step at a time, cherishing the moments with her daughter. "Mom, good morning. I smell pancakes." On weekend mornings, Emily's cheerful voice would echo through the house. Now 15, she was an honor student at Greenwich High School, dedicated to both ballet and piano lessons. Though she was a modern teenager who was savvy with smartphones and social media, she remained thoughtful of her mother, just as she had always been. Helping with weekend breakfast preparations, she seemed almost like a little adult. "Shall we go shopping after church today? You need new ballet shoes, don't you?" Olivia nodded with a smile at Emily's suggestion. Their Sunday ritual of shopping after services at First Presbyterian Church had become a cherished mother-daughter tradition. Shopping at Taylor and J. Crew was their modest indulgence. Sometimes they would enjoy window shopping at the Sono Collection. Church services provided them with peace of mind and strength. Their faith had been a pillar of support during difficult times. Surrounded by the warmth of the community, Olivia felt grateful for their life. A significant change in their peaceful days came during a viewing of a luxury apartment. A penthouse overlooking Fifth Avenue. A gentleman worthy of such luxurious interiors appeared before her. "Miss Thompson, thank you for showing me this wonderful property. This is exactly the view I was looking for." The deep voice belonged to Michael Parker, who introduced himself as an investment advisor. Dressed in a fine Brooks Brothers suit with a tastefully understated Rolex on his wrist, his gentlemanly demeanor captivated her. His Yale MBA education and sophistication were evident in every conversation. Though naturally cautious, Olivia gradually opened her heart to Michael's sincere personality. He would pick them up in his Range Rover, and on holidays, the three would enjoy meals at the Cheesecake Factory. Emily seemed to have a good impression of Michael as well, particularly admiring his extensive knowledge and refined manner. "A gift for your daughter. I heard it's the latest model." The gift from Michael was an iPhone 14 that Emily had been wanting. Though hesitant as a mother, seeing her daughter's joy made her accept his thoughtfulness. Michael's consideration was always appropriate and comfortable. Even her parents in Florida expressed their happiness about her relationship with Michael over the phone. Finally, Spring has come for you, her mother said, making Olivia blush. She secretly hoped this might be the beginning of a new life. Emily was absorbed in her new smartphone. Watching this peaceful scene, Olivia felt happiness. The atrium of the Sono collection was bustling with weekend shoppers. Among the people passing by luxury brand shops, Olivia, Emily, and Michael strolled leisurely. They were just another happy family enjoying their weekend shopping. "Oh, Emily. How about this dress for your ballet recital?" At Nordstrom's junior section, Olivia picked up a light blue chiffon dress. Emily's eyes sparkled. Michael smiled and said, "It would suit you perfectly," while discreetly checking the price tag. "Let's try it on." Just then, Michael's smartphone rang. His expression tensed for a moment as he looked at the screen. "I'm sorry. It's an important call from a client. I'll need to step away for a moment." Michael bowed politely and quickly headed down the escalator. Watching his retreating back, Olivia felt something was off. These sudden phone calls seemed to be happening more frequently lately. While Emily was trying on the dress in the fitting room, Olivia was checking her calendar on her smartphone. She had 3 important property viewings next week. As she was scrolling through the screen, she heard Emily's voice. The fitting room curtain opened. While the dress certainly suited her, there was anxiety in Emily's expression. "What's wrong?" "This app, it was installed, but I don't remember downloading it." Emily held out her iPhone 14, showing a screen with unfamiliar icons. An app called System Update Pro. At first glance, it looked like a genuine settings app, but Olivia couldn't remember such an app existing. Recently, the battery's been draining really fast. And sometimes, I notice the green light next to the camera is on. Maternal instinct sent out a warning signal. Olivia took her daughter's smartphone and opened the settings screen. What she saw made her blood run cold. The app permissions screen showed an alarming list of authorizations. Camera, microphone, location data, call history, messages, photos, contacts, access to every type of information. "Emily, how long has this app been?" She swallowed the rest of her question. The thought that these strange behaviors might have started after Michael's gift made Olivia's hands tremble. "I'm calling the police right away." Gripping the smartphone, she dialed 911. In the Nordstrom fitting room, such an ordinary place, their peace was beginning to crumble audibly. "I'll transfer you to the cybercrime division." The receptionist's voice sounded strangely unreal. Meanwhile, on Emily's smartphone screen, a small icon indicating location services continued to blink. Someone was watching them. Monitoring them. Just the thought sent chills down her spine. 15 minutes later, a detective arrived. Though relatively young, he was clearly a cybercrime specialist. "Detective Brian Connor," he said, showing his badge, and immediately began analyzing Emily's smartphone. The detective's face grew pale as he looked at the data displayed on the smartphone screen. "I'm very sorry, but we'll need to confiscate this smartphone as evidence. This is a serious privacy violation case." There was unmistakable tension in the detective's voice. Your daughter's location has been meticulously recorded for the past 3 weeks. Furthermore, the detective paused, choosing his words carefully before continuing. We found evidence that call recordings, secretly captured camera images, and message histories, all of these were being transmitted externally. Olivia felt the blood drain from her feet. Holding Emily close, she asked with a trembling voice. "Michael, where is Michael Parker?" The detective shook his head. "We've checked the mall's security cameras, but it appears Parker has already left." A vehicle matching the description of his Range Rover was seen leaving the parking lot 20 minutes ago. Under the brilliant lights of the luxury shopping mall, Olivia was trying to accept reality. Her meeting with Michael, his seemingly sincere attitude, his gentlemanly behavior, had it all been a lie? Their reflection in the fitting room mirror looked painfully small. Emily's new dress lay on the floor, never to be picked up again. The lights in the conference room of the Greenwich Police Department's Cybercrime Division stayed on late into the night. The large screen on the wall displayed data extracted from Emily's smartphone one after another. Olivia held her daughter's shoulders as they watched the footage with bated breath. "We have new information about Michael Parker's identity." Detective Brian spread out a thick file. False identification using letterhead from a real investment advisory firm, skillfully forged credentials, and his Yale MBA was also fabricated. Furthermore, the Range Rover he drove was a leased vehicle under someone else's name. The Brooks Brothers suits were likely purchased through credit card fraud. The atmosphere in the conference room grew heavy. Outside the window, the early summer night breeze rustled through the street trees. "That's not all." Female detective Sarah Martin presented new documentation. Her expression showed deep concern. "Over the past 3 years, we've confirmed 5 similar cases in the New England region, targeting single mothers in wealthy areas." Her words trailed off. Everyone understood what she left unsaid. The obsession with their daughters. This was more than just marriage fraud. "We've analyzed the data recovered from the smartphone." IT investigator James Lee displayed new screens on the monitor. System Update Pro is sophisticated spyware not available to the general public. It appears to be adapted from military-grade technology. Installation requires specialized knowledge. Olivia's memories suddenly became crystal clear. The number of times Michael stepped away to take phone calls. The unnatural length of time he spent checking settings when borrowing Emily's smartphone. All the dots were connecting. These are some of the videos recorded in Emily's room. The screen showed Emily returning from ballet lessons, doing homework, talking on the phone with friends. Every moment of her daily life had been secretly recorded. Olivia held her daughter tightly. The 15-year-old girl trembled slightly in her arms. After checking the location history, Detective Brian showed a new map. "We found evidence that Parker had been frequently lying in wait around Emily's school route, ballet studio, and friends' homes. He used the smartphone's location data to completely map out Emily's behavior patterns. Maternal guilt overwhelmed Olivia. Why hadn't she noticed? Why hadn't she been suspicious? He had pretended to meet them at First Presbyterian Church, exploited the community's trust, and then... Mom, Emily's voice broke through the conference room's heavy atmosphere. Actually, Michael, he'd been sending me strange messages. From the smartphone's backup data, they recovered deleted message histories. They contained words that no adult man should send to a teenage girl. Why didn't you tell me? Because you seemed happy, Mom. For the first time in a long time, you were smiling. Those words constricted Olivia's heart. Her daughter had suppressed her own anxiety, wanting her mother to be happy. We have an important development. Detective Sarah rushed back into the conference room. We've identified Parker's real name. James Murphy, age 46. He was charged with attempted sexual assault of a minor in 2019 but was released due to insufficient evidence. Since then, it appears he's been repeating similar schemes across state lines. The investigation continued late into the night. The next morning, as the first light began to illuminate the city, new facts came to light. The estimated total damages exceeded $1 million. He had extracted money through promises of marriage and investment schemes. But most serious was his obsession with underage daughters. Suspect's vehicle confirmed at the Connecticut state line. With the U.S. Marshal's report, the investigation entered a new phase. However, another battle was beginning in Olivia's heart, healing Emily's emotional wounds, and forgiving herself. The bells of First Presbyterian Church announced morning prayers. It was also the sound of a new day beginning. Mother and daughter would have to walk a long path to recovery. Miss, could I ask you one more question? Detective Brian's voice was gentle. Emily nodded slightly and began to speak. Greenwich's early morning was pierced by sirens. It was the moment when the police special unit stormed a luxury hotel room. After 72 hours on the run, Michael Parker, real name James Murphy, was arrested without incident. At the time of arrest, the suspect was in the middle of setting up a date with his next target. The luxury hotel room yielded forged passports, multiple cell phones, and a high-performance laptop. The next day, in the Greenwich Police Department's interrogation room, I waive my right to remain silent and will make a voluntary statement. The suspect's voice was emotionless. His Brooks Brothers suit was wrinkled, and the Rolex watch was gone. The mask of the sophisticated investment advisor had completely fallen away. The search results are in. James Lee from the Cybercrime Division analyzed massive amounts of data. One piece of shocking evidence after another was discovered on the suspect's computer. The victim photo folder contained classified images of 14 women and their daughters. Dates, locations, and personal information were meticulously organized, like a hunting record. Detective Brian stared intently at the images displayed on the monitor. There were numerous photos taken in front of Greenwich High School's gate. Emily in her uniform. Talking with friends. Her back view carrying a ballet lesson bag. All photos had been taken without Emily's knowledge. We've determined the suspect's method of operation. Detective Sarah reported the detailed analysis results. First, he would scout wealthy single mothers at real estate open houses or church community events. He particularly targeted families with teenage daughters. The projected diagram showed a perfect crime plan. Next, posing as an investment advisor, he would approach them. He would gain their trust with his refined appearance and educated manner. As the relationship progressed, he would give their daughters gifts of compromised smartphones. And then, using spyware. Yes. He would place the daughters' lives under complete surveillance. Location data, call content, messages, photos, everything was recorded, and he could even remotely activate cameras and microphones. In the interrogation room, the suspect continued his confession. I only gave them what they were looking for. The police officer's expressions hardened at these words. Single mothers want strong men. Their daughters crave father figures. I was just filling that void. What about the secret filming and recording? Insurance. In case the relationship broke down. Besides, observing young girls' lives was my hobby. The interrogating officer frowned at the nauseating confession. Then, an astounding fact came to light. The suspect had been repeating similar schemes for over 15 years. Total damages exceeded $5 million, with victims spanning the entire East Coast. A week later, in the Stamford Superior Court. Defendant James Murphy. You have committed grave crimes. The judge's voice resonated through the tense courtroom. Marriage fraud, financial fraud, illegal acquisition of personal information, attempted sexual assault of minors, stalking, and above all, the crime of trampling on innocent children's hearts weighs heavily. Victims from across the country sat in the courtroom. Mothers of various ages, and their daughters. All people whose lives had been destroyed by the same method. We lost our eldest daughter. A woman standing at the witness stand began speaking with a trembling voice. When our daughter learned she had been secretly filmed, she became mentally overwhelmed. She's now receiving treatment in a specialized hospital. She hasn't been able to return home for almost 2 years. As the reality of the damage was revealed one after another, a heavy atmosphere enveloped the courtroom. There is no atonement for your crimes. The sentence was pronounced. 25 years imprisonment. This is the minimum price for the lives, trust, and hope you stole from these people. Olivia squeezed Emily's hand tightly. Members of the First Presbyterian Church community had also come to court to support them. After the sentencing, victims gathered on the courthouse steps. There was shared pain, but also new bonds forming. Let's create a support group. Everyone nodded at one mother's suggestion. So our experiences won't be in vain. For those who might face similar dangers in the future. The evening sun beautifully tinged the courthouse spire. It looked like light announcing the end of a long nightmare and a new beginning. Then Emily said in a small voice. Mom, we'll be okay, right? Olivia nodded firmly. The wounds were deep, indeed. But mother and daughter had the strength to overcome them together. with the church community and their newly found friends. Christmas was approaching in Greenwich. Winter sunlight gently filtered through the stained glass windows of First Presbyterian Church. Almost 6 months had passed since the incident. And we were never alone. Olivia's voice from the pulpit resonated in the hearts of those gathered in the church. It was an awareness meeting about protecting children from cybercrime. As part of the Victims Association's activities, she was sharing her experience. Today, my daughter Emily will speak in her own words for the first time. The 15-year-old girl stood at the podium with a nervous expression. I was scared. But I was more afraid of ruining Mom's happiness. Mothers of various ages had gathered in the venue. Many had teenage daughters. But now I understand that family bonds can never be broken. And that we weren't to blame. Warm applause erupted from the audience at Emily's words. Detective Brian, who had handled the investigation, sat in the front row. After the meeting, the Victims Association held their regular meeting in the church's fellowship hall. Faces of fellow members from across the country appeared on a large screen via Zoom. A similar case has occurred in Florida. In New Jersey, they've begun discussing new legislation. The California chapter is planning to hold seminars in high schools. Their activities were steadily expanding. I have an update, Detective Sarah reported on the latest situation. Murphy is showing problematic behavior in prison. Unfortunately, his prospects for rehabilitation appear low. However, the victim's recovery was progressing steadily. Emily's painting won a prize at the school art exhibition. Olivia proudly presented her daughter's work. It was a watercolor depicting a mother and daughter walking hand in hand, gently wrapped in light streaming through the church's stained glass windows. Emily's counselor is very pleased with her progress. Certainly, the scars wouldn't disappear easily. But mother and daughter were moving forward one step at a time, supporting each other. How are you doing with the new phone? After the meeting, mother and daughter walked through the church garden. Emily held her new smartphone with enhanced security features. She had naturally adopted safe usage rules. Good. I'm keeping my social media personal information to a minimum. In the middle of their conversation, a phone call came in. Mrs. Thompson, CBS News is requesting an interview. It was from the Victims Association's PR representative. A national network was planning a special feature on protecting children from cybercrime. Mom, can I appear too? Emily's eyes sparkled for the first time in a while. I want to tell everyone that they don't have to be afraid. That there are always people they can talk to. Olivia embraced her daughter. Their former nightmare was now becoming a light to save others. The church bells chimed 3 o'clock. Mother and daughter began walking hand in hand as maple leaves danced in the air. Hey Mom, let's spend Christmas just as a family, like always. Yes, that would be lovely. Oh, but I still want to join the church carol group. Emily's smile warmed Olivia's heart. Their painful experience had taken much from them. But it had also taught them important lessons. The strength of family bonds. the warmth of community, and the ability to stand up again after being hurt. The winter sunset reflected off First Presbyterian Church's spire. It seemed to herald the beginning of a new season. Well, shall we head home? Yes. The sound of mother and daughter's footsteps echoed on the frozen ground. It sounded like the heartbeat of hope. In prison, James Murphy, formerly known as Michael Parker, continued writing something on his cell wall. The twisted obsession of a man deemed beyond rehabilitation hadn't disappeared. But that could no longer reach Olivia and Emily. Mother and daughter were bound by an unshakable bond, beginning a new life. And their journey would become a guidepost for others carrying similar pain. The last rays of sunlight shone on the church's cross.